Welcome, everyone. I'm Miles Duffield, and for those of you who haven't seen me yet, I am your DM for this game coming up, and I just wanted to do a quick little video explaining the basics of how to set up Roll20, at least in the way that I like to do it, right? So this is like first steps. It should be fairly simple. So let's go. I booted into Curse of Strahd Friday. Let's go back out, and let's go back to the beginning, back to the start. Right? So here is our recent games. When you sign in, this is where you should go. And if not, go up to games, and you'll be able to find all the games that you're currently in on this little bar. And the game that you just signed up for should be right here, right? Now, we're going to use the Curse of Strahd Friday game as the example here. So when you want to enter the game, hit Launch Game right down here. And that will send us into this booting up page. I'm using Firefox because Firefox is the most reliable browser for Roll20. Google Chrome has a tendency to crash a lot. All the other browsers are not very useful and don't access its full ability. So I'd recommend downloading Firefox and using just for Roll20 if you're into it. So now we have the screen here, right? On the left, you see that this is the primary interaction area, right? All of this inside this border. This is where our map will show up. For example, here we have a big old honkin' map of Barovia, right? Which I can move around and edit. And there's one of our boys over there. On the left, we have a bunch of tools for interacting in the map, and it looks a little bit different for players. Those aren't too important for you, with the exception of the dice roller, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And over here, we have where we're going to start. Now, actually, down here in the bottom left corner, you see my little name, right? When it begins, when you first set up Roll20, this option will be on Chat Tech, Roll20, WRT, WebRTC, Chrome, and Firefox. And this means that it's going to have to reload to redo all of that. This means that this little corner over here is going to be trying to pull my audio from any microphones on my camera and my video into Roll20, and we don't want that because we're going to be using Zoom, because Roll20 is, while a wonderful tool, it's not the most reliable for video and audio. Zoom is much more reliable, and that's because Roll20 does a lot of stuff. Zoom just does one thing. So how to disable that is that you click on Chat Tech. You click over to this little cog icon over here on this bar at the right side of at the top right of the chat, and that'll open up your settings. Right, you can adjust your display name. You can do a bunch of stuff in here. I don't need you to edit all that. I don't think you should edit all that without watching a couple other more comprehensive YouTube videos, and maybe checking in with me first. But you're going to scroll down to Video plus Audio Chat options. The first thing is Chat Tech. Turn it to none. Roll20 will have to restart to reset up all those issues. It'll stop trying to pull all that data from your computer, and we'll be done with our first step. The next step is also in the settings over here. Similar, go there, scroll down if it hasn't already scrolled you down like it did. Now when Roll20 starts up, it'll have your avatar size at regular. And you can see that my avatar down here is loading up, right? This little screen, the cards that I had attached to my character have gone up, and I have my little avatar down here. I don't like to play with that because it takes up a little bit more of the screen. So if you want to, you can make it big. But I like to go to names only, and that has a color attached to it. So in relation to that color, let's go to how to interact with the map. The first thing that you need to know is that when you hold down the left click on any part of the map, you'll see a little ping that comes out. And this is really useful because we don't get to point at the map when it's digital, right? So this is how you say, I'm talking about right here on the map. Or what if I moved over here? Or what about what if I shot a missile into Lake Bartok? What would happen, right? So that's how we point, and the color of it is coded to whatever color our player is, so I know who's doing that pinging, right? Now, don't overuse the ping, right? Don't just ping everywhere, because communication is really, really important in an online game. So if there's too much cross chatter, or if there's too much pinging, or too much drawing with things, it gets confusing and annoying really quick for both me and for your fellow players. Now, next up is our chat, Right now, here you can see that people have been chatting. I typed some things. We also have these interesting role things. Now you can do a lot of things with the chat, and there are a bunch of videos about it. I don't really use the chat, but one cool thing is that you can type /em to make an emote. Sits back. Miles sits back. Right, so that's a little emote. You can also send messages to other people. I don't have anyone else in the game right now, but if I type /w GM, right, I'd be whispering the GM. And then I could type, hey, you're a pretty cool guy. And then only I would see that I was typing to myself that I'm a pretty cool guy. Now, the next thing that I want to go over is what's called the journal, right? And this is the next most important thing for you guys. The journal, for me, it has the entirety of our campaign, just like stuffed in here. But you guys will have probably characters, right? So let me make a character real quick. I'm gonna put it in everyone's journal so everyone can see what's going on. It's gonna be edited by only the person who. By Fluffy Bunny, the person who's running the character. So let's say it's Fluffy Bunny in this case, and then you can add tags if you so desire. I think only I can make these, so you don't need to worry about this. But once I've created it, here is ye old Bipob Afik Bob Bog. So when you click that, it'll be brought up. Now, if I click over to character sheet, Bifog is going to have an entire character sheet, and all of you guys will have your own character sheet right here. I'm going to do edit directly. So if you want to roll any of these items, let's say she's proficient in animal handling. So if I want to roll animal handling, check this out. I click over to the chat, and I hit, boom, animal handling. It does the D20 roll for that, and if you scroll over it with your mouse, you'll see that it shows you what you rolled and what you got. The little 3 in parentheses right there, which you can just see on the edge of my screen. That's what the number rolled, and then she has +2 because she's proficient in it, so she gets 2 to animal handling. Now, attacks, all of this will be entered in, so don't worry about entering it in. They'll be right here, and you roll them similarly by clicking on them. Same with saves. Same with initiative, though I do all my initiative in the back of house, shall we call it, right? Then you have bio information over here, which you can enter in and which is entirely flexible. And we can talk more about what your character's backstory is if you want before game. And then finally, we have spells, which should also be added in when they're imported from D&D Beyond. If you want to do any of this manually, click add, you enter in everything, and you can make pretty cool freaking spell cards, like we have right here, right? Which D&D Beyond has already done for us. So that's kind of the basic tutorial of how to use Roll20. If you want to scroll around up and down on your, if you have a roller on your mouse, goes up and down, and then you can hold shift to go left and right as well, which is super useful. This little scroller over here I find is the most reliable way to go in and out. Now we do have some tokens over here, right? We have little Poppy over here who I can click on, and Poppy, you can add your own hit points and other things to Poppy if you have certain statuses that you want to track on her. But Poppy, if you are in control of Poppy, meaning that you're playing Poppy, you'll be able to click on Poppy and drag Poppy around the map, right? And Poppy will move, and as you can see, there's a cool lighting feature that I have where Poppy's light moves with Poppy. It's just kind of cool. But that's the long and the short of it. If you all have any questions, feel free to come to me. I'm here to answer all the stupid little questions that you might have, as well as the smart ones. The ones that I have the answer to. I've only been using Roll20 like actively for a couple of weeks, and while I spent probably 60 hours on Roll20 this week, I still have a lot to learn. So I'm glad that you all are coming to learn some stuff with me and to play this game with me. I'm really, really hyped. So I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching this video, and quest on. I just made that tagline up.